What's up, YouTube fam? Welcome back to Richie Rich Abroad. I'm your host, Richie Rich.
Hi.
All right, there you go. Okay, back down. All right, that's my grandbaby. Anyway, today I'm going to be sharing something with you. I had a lot of time to think since I came back, and today I'm going to be sharing with you, as life goes on, we reflect, we look back at things you should have done or could have done or would have done, and things you wish you knew before. Today I'm going to be sharing with you a couple things that I wish that I knew before I moved to Manila from California. So whether you're planning to move abroad to the Philippines or you're just curious about what life is like in the Philippines, this is a whole bunch of things that I wish I knew before I got there. By the way, you're gonna see my fingertips. No, I'm not gay. This is Grandpa playing with his granddaughter. So it is what it is. All right, let's get to the list. But first, Ching. No Ching. She'll be back in 10 days. So let's kick the intro and get into this video. Rolling by trike. Here we go. So the first thing is that I relearned something I knew already from living in China and living in Japan. And that is that culture shock is real. I mean, when you hear about culture shock, you don't really think about it. It's almost like jet lag. You don't really think about it. You think it's not going to happen, but culture shock is real. You will miss things that you got used to, things, especially if you're from the US or from the UK or Europe, things that you are used to that you've been used to because you've had them your whole entire life. Suddenly you go abroad and you don't have those things anymore. And you have to learn to get used to it. A different culture, slower culture, a culture where everyone doesn't speak English. It's just a whole new place, and you will quickly start missing where you came from. And it's kind of one of those things where you just kind of have to learn that you get through it and you keep pushing, because the flip side of that is that every day is exciting. Every day something new is happening, and it's fun and it's exciting. You're meeting new people all the time. So when you travel somewhere, it's different than living somewhere, because when you travel somewhere, you're just there for a short time. But when you move to a new place, especially a new country with a new culture shock is a real thing. So get ready for that. So number 2, everything in the Philippines takes time. You better come there with a whole bunch of patience. And if you don't, you better develop patience really quickly.
Stay here. I'll be back.
Because we come from the land of drive-thrus. We come from the land where everything is fast, quick, fast, in a hurry. And it's just not like that in the Philippines. It's not like that when you go to China. It's a little bit more like that when you're in Japan. But in the Philippines, very few things are going to be fast. I mean, we got online DMV, Amazon Prime, where things are delivered to you even in the same day. So nothing is going to be as fast as it is at home. And it's just something you just have to get used to. Deliveries are going to take a lot longer. They might deliver to the wrong place. Your fast food is a lot of times not going to be fast, and your order will often be wrong. You're in a different culture where they think a different way, and nobody is really in a hurry. And if that's not something that you can get with, then it kind of is. Then maybe going to Manila or living in a third world country might not be for you, because really nobody cares about you talking about, in the U.S., blah, blah, blah. In the U.S., we did it this way. Nobody cares. You're not in the U.S. no more. And if you want to be, you should go back home. So patience is something you really, really need to get used to, especially even when you have one of these. Sometimes you have to have a little bit of patience, but there's a whole bunch of love that goes with it, so it's easy for me. But anyway, definitely living abroad, you're going to need a whole bunch of patience. So come with that, or be willing to develop it really quickly, because they're not going to conform to who you are and where you come from. They do their own thing. The third thing I would definitely say is healthcare. Healthcare is a lot more affordable in Manila, but the quality of healthcare might be suspect depending on where you're going. There's hospitals all over Manila, but as soon as you get outside of Manila, the medical care, healthcare that you get, it might come with some deficiencies. So it's something you just might have to get used to. So if you're somebody who has some health problems, you might have hypertension, you might have some heart problems, you might have whatever it is you might have. You need to consider a couple things. Number one is making sure that you have good healthcare coverage. And number two, making sure that you live close to a quality hospital with quality physicians there. It's not a knock on anybody in the Philippines or any particular doctor in the Philippines, but it is what it is. The healthcare in Manila or in the Philippines may not be what you're used to in the United States. That's all. Keeping in mind that I've lived overseas for like 10 years in other countries, but one of the next things that you really, really have to keep in mind, and that I had to learn the hard way, I mean, this is truth, is that you're a foreigner. And when you go to a foreign country, you're living in a foreign country, a lot of people, especially in a third world country like the Philippines or a developing country, whatever you want to call it, a lot of people are going to assume that you're rich. You're a foreigner. You must have money. And so people are going to kind of treat you that way. Some people got to get used to that. But really, you need to have a humble attitude, and you need to learn to be kind, but also be very cautious, because there's going to be people that are trying to get into your pockets. Although a lot of people may seem kind, in truth, a lot of them are trying to get into your pockets. Being humble and not coming to Manila or the Philippines talking about how much money you have or how much money you've made is always a good thing. Also, being kind to other people, just because you might have more money than other people doesn't mean you need to look down on them. It doesn't mean you need to treat them in a condescending fashion. Be kind, be hospitable, be generous. We have a lot of advantages that a lot of the local people don't have. So keep that in mind when you're dealing with the people overseas. I hear a lot of people say they come to the Philippines and they get settled in, and suddenly they figure out, it's a lot more expensive than they thought it was. In truth, it's not expensive, but a lot of people just don't plan that well. And in fact, I've said before, you can live on $1,000 budget a month, but you're not going to live like a king. And I don't care what any of the other videos say, you can easily live on $1,000 budget a month, but you are not going to live like a king. Is that right, Chloe? There we go. You heard it firsthand from my granddaughter. But you can live very comfortably, and that's fact. However, the caveat to that is once you get a girlfriend, things are going to change quickly, very, very quickly. This is my girlfriend. As you know, girlfriends get expensive, and sometimes that can even up to double your expenditures. So something you might want to keep in mind. Yeah, you can live well, but if you choose to take a partner or have a girlfriend or a wife, and especially a live-in partner, you're gonna be footing most of the bills, and you're gonna quickly find out it wasn't as cheap as you thought it was. So keep that in mind. You may not be able to come to Manila and ball out like you thought you were, and it might be a little different. So make sure you come with a plan. Have something set in stone. Know what your budget is. Stay within your budget. You don't need to impress anybody here. Impress them with who you are, not what you have in your pockets. The next thing I wish I knew, that I know now, is that transportation is not transportation is not the same as in the U.S. Of course, in the U.S., we all have cars, right? You can't do nothing without a car in the U.S. But in the Philippines, you're not going to have a car. You're not going to have a car, and you have to figure out transportation, whether it's a jeepney, Grab, InDrive, or a trike, or maybe you might even get your own motorbike. But you're going to have to figure out transportation because traffic is off the hizzo in Manila. If you choose to stay here, it's also the same in Cebu. So you're going to have to figure out how to get around. The good news is that getting around is very cheap. Whether you use the MRT, which is kind of the subway system or whatever, or taking a taxi or a Grab, which is like Uber or Lite, it's fairly cheap to do, and it'll take you anywhere in the city for a very, very low price. I mean, you can literally drive for probably 30 to 40 minutes, and it's not going to cost you anywhere but it'll cost you less than $5 in total. So you're going to have to kind of negotiate that and figure out how you're going to get around day to day. Luckily, Grandpa works from home, so Grandpa doesn't need to have to figure out how to get around from day to day because I work from home. So I got it kind of good. So, but there's always the weekends when you want to get out, and you want to go places and do stuff, and you're gonna have to figure that out. So definitely keep that in mind because there's a lot of places to go and a lot of things to see. But there's buses for that. There's cars. There's jeepneys. There's all kinds of transportation. You just need to figure it out for yourself. The next thing I kind of learned on my own, and the hard way too, is that making friends, it takes time. Yeah, the local people are friendly. They're super friendly. They're really nice. But you may find that you don't have a lot in common with a lot of the local people. And you kind of want to gravitate toward people you know, who understand you, who have traveled around, who have done things, who have been places. And that is what it is. When you're young, making friends is super easy, but as you get older, making true friends is not as easy as it used to be. The hardest thing for me is finding people that, have kind of like minds or kindred spirits in Manila, and that is just not so easy. So it takes time. Be patient. When you get over to the Philippines, be patient and be willing to take time and find friends. You might not just want to pull up with just anybody. You're going to quickly find out that just because they're also foreigners doesn't mean they're the kind of people you want to hang out with. Same as it was when you're at home. Some people are cool people, and some people just may not be as desirable to hang out with as you might have originally thought. So anyway, so be patient when it comes to making friends. It's not so easy. When you're her age, it's easy to make friends. Look at this cute face. She can roll up on anybody and make friends, and everybody wants to be a friend. But when you get to our age, it's just not so easy. You really have to figure out who you kind of click with, who you don't click with. And it's a process. It really is. So just be patient in doing that. Whoever you're bringing into your life, it matters, because it's going to affect your disposition when you're abroad and when you're outside. So choose wisely and very carefully. Just the same as you would a girlfriend, do the same with your friends, because it's important. The next thing I really wish I knew was about the internet. And I'm lucky because I found this out the hard way, but I made a good choice in choosing Manila as my place to live in. And Manila doesn't really have brownouts. They don't have any power outages. So I've never really had a problem with internet. But I've traveled around the Philippines and I found out quickly, you can't just live anywhere and have internet. There are brownouts in smaller cities. There are power outages, and you're going to have some issues. So if you need internet for work like I do, you need to live in a place like Cebu or Davao or Cagayan de Oro or Manila. You need to live in a place that has good internet and that doesn't have power outages. This is incredibly important, especially if you are a digital nomad, you're living abroad. You need to figure that out and figure it out quickly, because the last thing you need is to be in the middle of your work. The result is not going to be good. So if you're going to be a digital nomad and if you're going to work from home, make sure you stay in a place where you have constant internet, or get some internet, or get a MiFi. There's all kinds of internet gadgets now where you can take internet with you. So get one of those and make sure you're prepared when you come out here if you're going to be working from home. Next, something I had to really get used to. I got a confession. I'm not a hot weather person. I don't do hot weather. It gets to me. I'm lucky in that I stay at home. I work from home. I got the AC cracking all the time. So I'm in cool weather constantly, but hot weather kills me. And in the Philippines, if you're not used to hot weather, you better get used to hot weather, because it is hot in the summer. When it's hot and humid. And when it rains, brother, it rains, and it keeps raining for days. And it floods hard. The rivers overflow. It gets to be a hot mess. So if you're not up on that, if you're not ready for some hot weather, the Philippines may not be the place for you. And please take heed to that. The weather is hot. Even when it's cold, it's hot. People talk about Baguio and they say, oh, Baguio is really cool. It's cold in Baguio. It's not cold in Baguio, y'all. It's cold to them in Baguio. But to us, Baguio would be nice and warm and balmy, and we would love it. So just understand that the Philippines is a tropical country. It's going to be hot. If you're coming from the South of the United States or the Southwest or Southeast, the Philippines is nothing. You'll be right at home. But if you're coming from anywhere like California or places where it's not humid, get ready, because it is going to be hot. And it takes some acclimation. It takes some time for you to get used to it. Any kind of heavy coats or sweaters or anything like that, you're never going to wear any of that stuff. So don't even bother bringing it. It's just a waste of suitcase space. One of the last things I learned, and I think it's one of the best things I learned, is that moving to the Philippines challenged me. It presented challenges that you don't expect, that you don't think are going to happen, but you get lost. You get lost, same as you do in other countries. You get lost. The language, all kinds of stuff. It's a challenge. And I don't know about you guys, but I like a challenge. I like to challenge myself and push myself to be able to solve problems and be able to get through things. And it is a challenge. Getting new places or communicating people, getting directions. Everything is going to be a challenge. The communication is going to be a challenge. Getting from A to Z is going to be a challenge. And it can be tough sometimes. To me, I think it brings out the best in me. It makes me a better person, having to acclimate to another culture, different people, and I think it makes you better. I really do. To me, that's one of the best things about living out in the Philippines. You really learn to slow down. You learn to listen more. You learn to just take it easy. You learn to stop and smell the roses here in the Philippines, because nothing is going to go fast. And you may as well get used to going slow and taking it easy and just enjoying life. After all, isn't that why you come to the Philippines, to just slow down and enjoy life? A couple of quick bonus tips. Number one, get a SIM card. Get a local SIM card as quick as possible. You're going to need it to get around. You're going to need it to do almost everything you need. I kept my SIM card from home, but I doubled up. I have a local SIM card and I have a SIM card from home, and it works perfectly. It's easy. Number two, get GCash. Download GCash on your phone immediately. Once you get your SIM card, get GCash. It will make your life very, very easy. Almost every place in the Philippines accepts GCash, so it's super, super important to get. It will make paying for things and doing things all over the Philippines really, really easy. Number three, always carry small bills. I don't know what the deal is with people in the Philippines, but when you go to buy stuff, if you pay with big bills, they just don't like it. They freak out and they'll tell you they don't have big bills. You're going to have to go somewhere else, get a smaller bills. So just don't do it. Come with small bills, come with an assortment of bills, some 20s, some 50s, some hundreds. Try to stay away from paying things with 1,000 pesos bills. It will make your life and their lives easier. Two last tips. One, join some local Facebook groups. There are some expat groups on Facebook. They're pretty cool. There's a lot of expats that have been through what you're going through. They've been through the culture shock. They've been through all the nuances of living abroad. They can give you a lot of tips and tricks on how to do it. So that's pretty cool. So the very last tip I'm going to give you is
learn the language.
Learn Tagalog. You don't have to learn the whole language, but learn some phrases. Learn thank you. Learn please. Learn good morning. Learn some greetings, but learn some Tagalog just to be polite. It goes a long way with the local people, and it definitely will not hurt you. So moving from California to the Philippines wasn't just a matter of me changing my address and moving from one place to another. I literally moved halfway around the world, and it changes you as a person. It's not just changing your address, it changes you as a person. You have to do a lot of adjusting, because keep in mind, the local people are not going to adjust for you. So if you're in the US or you're in the UK or Australia or somewhere or anywhere around the world, you think about moving out to the Philippines, get out your boy Richie Rich. Drop a question, drop your questions, drop your comments. Let me know what you're thinking. And I love reading the questions, and I always respond. YouTube always reminds us that the best way to help our channel to grow is to watch another one of our videos right after this one. And don't forget to hit that like to subscribe button and give us a thumbs up, because we really appreciate it and it helps us to grow our channel. Be patient when it comes to making friends. Be patient when it comes to getting a girlfriend. Sweetie, your grandfather loves you. Thank you, baby. Make sure you're prepared when you come out here if you're going to be working from home. Are you mimicking me? You're cracking me up. But thank you. I asked you to be quiet, and you are being quiet. Thank you. All right, we're almost finished, okay? So if you like this video, don't forget, we got a whole bunch of other videos just as good, if not better. So check those out too. In the meantime, in between time, I'm Richie Rich for Richie Rich Abroad. This is my beautiful granddaughter, Chloe. Deuces. We're out.
We're out.